Hey guys, LOU2RETRO here. We're gonna be showing you, what are we showing you?
We're going to be talking about how to clean your video games and just make your collection look a little bit nicer. The primary reason for this is, number one, half the time when we get a game and we go to put it in our NES console, it doesn't work. Or you have to, pop it in, do your little tricks that you normally do with it. Everybody used to, blow down the cartridge, which is very bad actually for them. It collects condensation in there, water and electronics really don't mix, especially when it's sitting there for years and years and years that you've been doing this over and over. So we're going to tell you a little bit of tips and tricks and some tools of the trade that we've picked up here recently.
Yep.
So number one, the thing that drives me nuts, and we've mentioned it a couple times, is when you get something and it has somebody's name on the back. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is, who did we say this was? Marcus Evans?
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus Evans. Go ahead.
I forget.
Yeah, this guy actually dropped paint on it, and this is a work that's in progress or whatever. But the thing that we like to use the most when we're cleaning up just the outside is standard, isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. And we'll get a little bit of, just dip it on a napkin or whatever, and you just kind of rub it over, and a little bit of elbow grease works pretty good, and it actually cleans up the labels real nice.
And if you're wondering why it's so bright, the heart of the TARDIS is over there, if you've seen that episode.
Yeah, we're actually filming this one from our kitchen, and it is a bright Indiana day out right now, beaming in on this. But we thought the table would be a little bit better to have everything so we could grab it and hold it up. And
also, I got this.
That's another little Christmas pickup that he got for his Doctor Who collection he's got going on.
I can fix Urban Champion.
Okay, so on the back it actually says, do not clean with benzene, thinner, alcohol, or other such solvents. And what they're talking about, I think, is the actual pins when you open these up. So I have used that before on some of the harder to clean stuff, but I try not to just because it says it, and I don't know what the long-term effects of alcohol on the copper is on the inside. So, like I said, the rubbing alcohol works great for the outside of these. A lot of times you have to kind of get in the cracks and crevices, and we'll use Q-tips to do that.
Yeah.
A tool of the trade that we bought, and I think I got it for like $2 off of eBay, is this little tool that you can use. And it's to open up the back of the Nintendos. Now there's two different types. One has a flat tip screwdriver to open these up, and I'm looking for the other one. And the other one is this small hexagon. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it's real easy to open these Nintendo games up. Pop it in there.
The one right above the T and caution on it.
Yeah, and they normally have 3 little screws that connect these together. And very easy to open. And before I got this fancy little tool that I'm using now, I'll show you something that... Yeah, I almost knocked the hairdryer down. I'll show you this other little tool that we used, that we made at home, that doesn't always work, but it helped us when we were first starting collecting.
He melted a paintbrush.
Yeah, so if you find a flat or something that's plastic with a little tip on it, you can hold a lighter to it for, I don't know, just a couple seconds. And once it's heated up and it's kind of soft, you'll press it down right on the screw, and it'll actually conform to the screw. And you'll have yourself, once it cools down, you'll have yourself a little NES screwdriver. But it doesn't work all the time, especially for the ones that are really wedged in there. But it kind of helps you out in a pinch if you haven't bought one of these yet.
Sounds like Sadie, the little girl, my sister, turned on the air hockey. If you listen real closely, you can hear like the air hockey.
You always get sounds of the air hockey and the ping pong coming up from the basement into the upstairs. So once you open up your game, this is kind of what the inside of an NES cartridge looks like.
Hey, it's L for Lou.
Yeah. So they have these copper pins on 2 sides, and the majority of the time, all I have to do to clean these up to get them working is
to sonic it.
Use your sonic screwdriver, or what the rest of us use is paper towel or some Kleenex. Paper towel or a Q-tip with some Windex. Clean up both sides really good, and then what I always do after that is I'll use Brasso, And a little bit goes a long way. This will probably last us for years. This one little tube, and this was pretty cheap. It was only $2 or $3. So, like I said, just a little bit of brasso on each side, and that generally helps clean it up. And once I put everything back together and pop it in the Nintendo, it normally comes on, plug it in, push power, and it's the first play. So that is a really big lifesaver. Now, sometimes you'll have a little bit of corrosion on this copper, and we'll really have to dig in there. I've heard some people just use a standard eraser to get it off. We really haven't found something that works great. The first two Super Mario 3s that we got had that problem, remember? And it would put little pixels every time you played it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it happens occasionally, but we haven't figured out a great solution to get that stuff off, and we don't really want to go in there scraping at the copper yet. So we'll figure that out, and we'll post that once we figure it out. Yeah.
I think this will fix it.
So there's that. Also, for stickers, if you have stickers on the outside.
My dad told me to hair dry them because apparently the ones with stickers on them are girls and they like their hair good.
Yeah, so the what you're doing is when you turn on the heat, it actually reactivates the glue on it, and it gets sticky, and it comes right up. Because if you just try and peel it off, you'll have residue, and you'll really have to pick and peel. Then you'll have to get your rubbing alcohol and rub it. But it works pretty good. So, see this one right here? I got off with my fingers.
See, turn off the air hockey.
We got a shark in the picture now. Go turn off the air hockey. So sometimes they peel off really easy, but like this one right here, that's not going to peel off easy. So we'll have to heat it. And you'll just hold the hair dryer on there for a couple seconds. Go ahead and do it. Pull the thing out.
Oh, wow, that's hot. That's hot.
So sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer. So this might be one that takes a little bit longer. If it's actually on a label, I had one like that. So here's a Game Boy Advance game that actually has one.
We got really recently when I was in Kentucky with him.
Yeah, this is Altered Beast.
It's not like the original one. It's like, it's kind of cheesy. I like the original one better, but that's still a good addition to our collection.
Yeah, I played it the other day. It actually is pretty cool. It's got different monsters, and the first level lasts forever, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to really be careful because when you use the heat gun to activate the glue in this, it's actually going to activate the glue on the bottom side of it too. And I've learned the hard way on one game before that once you start doing that, it takes you can actually rip your other label off. So you got to be careful with that.
Which game was it?
I don't remember. I think it was on one of the backs of them when I was taking off the back. It was on the Heat game. So it was this one right here.
Oh.
So I actually lost the label on the back of that one. But mostly I was trying to get there's glue on there as well. Or not glue, it was paint. A big glob of paint. So we're still in the process of cleaning that one off. This one was probably the worst conditioned back I've seen.
That we have.
Yeah. So for the Game Boy Advance games, same trick that I used with the paintbrush, I just took the innards out of a pen, or the insides out of a pen, and did the same thing. For some of the older Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, you can use the same thing. And this one still works, this pen. I mean, There, I just opened that one. That's how easy it was. So the pen tech works. But for some of the newer games, they actually have it looks like a Phillips screwdriver, only instead of having 4 prongs, it only has 3. And these I bought for, I think, $250, something like that, off of eBay. And these work great.
I never knew that.
Yep. And the Game Boy games, they don't have copper on both sides of the cartridge on the inside, just the one side.
Yeah, and that if you're wondering what game that is, I don't know why, but Pokemon Ruby version.
Yeah, so another thing with these games, so especially with the Pokemon games, they actually have a battery right there. And
See that big circle? That's a battery.
Yeah, and when these batteries run dead, which they are now, it's getting on like the 20-year mark that some of these are in existence, 10, 15, 20-year mark. And when the batteries go out, they're dead. And you can't just pop them and pull them, replace another battery. They're actually kind of soldered in there. So
like with some wires.
I've heard Batteries Plus will replace them, although I've contacted them before and they didn't. The one that I had contacted didn't want to do it. So
didn't you say that place in South Bend fixes video games? So
supposedly, you might find a game store that does it.
So that means that, if you take that, it could change the battery.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if my dad said that there's a place in South Bend with a game store that that fixes them. If you have a battery, even if you live in Texas and you're watching this, go up to South Bend and do it.
Well, the point is to ask your game store if they do that, or your local electronics store may be able to solder in a battery for this. It doesn't have to be the place in South Bend. It could be
has
anywhere.
to be.
Whatever. But the question is, what's the replacement type battery? And that's something, if you Google it, you'll generally be able to find that. But again, and a lot of them aren't. These aren't like for save states generally. I think the battery is for like for the Pokemon, or it's like if you have something like a timed event, like something that reoccurs every 24 hours. That's what the batteries are for, I believe, if I remember correctly. So
what I think that you're saying is that the battery kind of looks like the battery that goes in this.
No. So the other thing with the labels, also not just for cartridges, for boxes. You saw our NES box up on the top of our collection video.
Yeah, and then in between, it was like an NES sandwich, because that's like a remake of the NES, and then there's an NES, and then my DS in the middle box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these little stickers right here also are pretty easy to come off, but I don't like to just go ahead and rip them, because then you can rip the box.
I just don't notice how good that condition is.
Yeah, this box is great, and the other box was great. It had about the NES box had about 7 of these little tiny price tag stickers on it.
Oh, wow.
And I just used a heat gun or a hair dryer, hit it for 5-10 seconds. Started. Okay. So I don't think I have anything else on this maintaining of the videos. Do you? Maintaining of the NES collection. I think he's out of ideas too. So as we learn more tips and tricks, we'll let you guys know, and we'll keep making these videos. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Comment and subscribe.
Yep, please comment and subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Thanks.
Or I will Sonic you, or I'll send my Dalek at you. He knows where everything is.